Hello friends, it is Miss A coming to you from the Northeast branch of the Reading Public Library, and it is the last Wednesday of 2020. We've only got a few days left of this year. So some of us might be happy to put this year behind us, but regardless of your feelings, I hope that 2021 is a great, wonderful, fresh new start for us all. And so today I have a tree craft. And for me, I think an evergreen tree, which is what we're going to make, is a great symbol of perseverance, freshness, all this good stuff. I'm rambling, but we're making evergreen trees, winter tree craft. So if you haven't already, make sure you get a go pack from the Northeast branch of the Reading Public Library. It'll have everything you need to make this craft other than scissors. If you need to borrow some scissors from the library, let us know. We can get you some scissors to use. And inside of your bag should be paper plate and some yarn, and then some pretty sequins, beads, etc. So that's if you'd like to make it a sort of a Christmassy tree, a little late, or you can use some white and silver beads and sequins to make some pretty snow. So let's get started. So the first step is optional. So you can either weave a tree and keep it on the base. And I recommend this if, for most levels of crafters, especially little kids, you are better off leaving it on the plate. But if you're an adult or you're an experienced crafter, you want a challenge, you can weave it and take it off of the plate, which will require weaving in some ends. So basically, your choice now, you have to start to think, and you can change your mind later, you can still keep it on the plate, but think, am I gonna take it off the plate or am I going to leave it on? If you're going to leave it on, one thing I like to do is to decorate my plate. So you can use crayons or markers or pencils you have at home. If you don't have any, let us know at the library, we can let you use some. But what you wanna do when you're holding it, to color, find the place, one side, the top should only have one flap, whereas the bottom has a lot. So I'm going to do a background of sort of a winter forest as my background. So I want to make sure that the top is up here, the bottom is down there when I draw. So I'm going to draw my tree's background. Alright, so I didn't do anything fancy. I just have a little winter scene. I tried having like pieces of the grasses like peeking out of the snow, but I don't think it looks great. But basically, I have created a winter scene for my background. We have snow, we have sky, we have trees. So the next thing we're going to do is set up our loom. Have you ever woven like a pot holder or something before? It's similar to that. But this is sort of the hardest part. Once this is done, everything else is easy. So you're gonna wind out some string. All right, so I cut off a piece of yarn. I sort of held if you stretch your arms out all the way and then do that twice. So I'm holding it double and then my arms stretched out. So what I'm going to do is take the folded part in the middle, take this top part, and put it over there. So it looks like this right now. Now I have all these strings in the back. What you're going to do is move them around and then start on the outside and move your way in by looping in the back and then the front. And then I'm going to come back around. So like that. I'm going to do it on the other side too. Do another one on the other side. Alright, so when all of them are done, you probably only have a little bit of yarn left. I like to take it behind this front piece here, and I'm going to tie it in a double knot. So that sort of holds the loom together. And then I'm just going to snip these strings. Alright, so now you have your basic shape. What we're going to do is take this string. I like to take some long pieces, and then you can always tie on more. But you need both ends available. So I find one end, and I'm going to tie it somewhere to the top of my tree. I like to start at the top. So tie a little knot, or have an addle tie a knot for you. Tie it onto the tree. And now you're going to find your end of your string that's not tied, and we're going to start weaving it through. So basically you want to find the string that's farthest over, and we're going to weave over the first one, then under, over, under, over, under. So we're just weaving over and under, over and under. This is a great practice for motor skills. So yeah, I'm going to start. Well, I'm going to start under, but basically alternating under and over. And you're just going to be doing that for a really long time. So do it under, then over the next one, under, over, under, over, under, and over, and under, and over, and then we pull the string. And you want to, if it gets caught between the different things, just pull it out. It's fine. Right. And you're going to pull it tight, because at the top, we do want it to be nice and tight, because we want that pointy look for our Christmas tree. Though having this folded out like this will also help shape the tree. And when you get your go pack, I've already cut these slats for you because I know it's hard. So now we're going to repeat on the other side. So the last thing we did was it went over this last piece. So I'm going to go under. Let me do it this way so you can see a little better. Under, over. Which is next? This one. Under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and over. And then I sort of get my string to the side so it's nice and neat, and then you want to pull the string. Mine got caught in here. That's okay. I'm pulling. And see, when I pull it tightly, these strings sort of come together. As I go down, I might get a little looser, but for now, this is what we want. Let me see if I can face the camera to do this one more time for you guys. So last time we went over, so I'm going to take the string under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and over. And then I'm going to pull this as you can see, gets woven together. All right, so we're going to keep doing that. As you can see though, eventually this gets a little smaller. So what I want you to do is weave until you get to this buddy here, or actually until you get to this one here, sort of the bottom here. Because what we're going to do after that is switch to only weaving on these. So I'm going to switch to a fast time lapse. I'll see you in a moment. Make sure you're stopping around here, okay? Don't go all the way to the bottom. See you in a second. Oh, so I totally forgot to do this on mine earlier, but I'm going to show you what to do if you want to add in sequins or beads. Let's do beads. These are actually way too small to add. Have you ever seen the hole in the sequin? How small that sequin hole is. And let's look at the yarn. Look at this bad boy. This not gonna work. If you're gonna add sequins, use some good old glue. Let's see though the beads. Okay, y'all, I figured it out. Okay, if you want to weave in a bead, I'm gonna show you how. Let me pull this through first. Okay, my friends, so first you have to get to wherever you want to add the bead in. So I did something wrong there. Alright, I'll show you how to add a bead right here. That's fine. Okay. So, I would like to add a bead here. I'm going to add a white bead till like snow. So what you do, and I'm going to take this back off because I actually forgot to add beads so it looks weird. You get to the spot you want, string the bead, pull it all the way through, and then you just keep weaving. As you can see, the bead will stay. So I'm going to add beads to your bags, and it's super easy to add in beads there. So anywhere you want to add a bead, just do that. So you get to the spot you want to add the bead, string it on, keep weaving like normal. And I'm gonna keep weaving. If you reach the end of a piece of string like I had, what you want to do, if you're a pro, you could weave it in with a needle, but I like fun little craft. Tie it in a knot around the closest string, or have an adult do it if you can't knot it yourself. can weave that in or just snip it off. I'll just snip it. We don't need to be fancy today. Now you're gonna tie another piece on like before, cut another piece, and keep weaving like we did the first time. So I'm going to start doing that. Alright, so this is about where I want my tree to be. I would have maybe liked to make it a little bit longer on the sort of flared triangular part, but I've got barely any yarn left. I don't really feel like adding another piece, so I'm just gonna tie a knot onto this last piece of string on the end. And then I have a little extra, so I'm gonna snip that off. Okay, so now we need a tree trunk. Now, I wish we had brown yarn, but we didn't. We only had a lot of green. So we're going to do it in green. So add another piece. Snip it off. And what we're going to do now is we're only going to work on a few of these. So you can choose if you want 3. It's a little crooked, so I'm not sure I love that. You could do 2 in the middle, but I think that's going to be too small. So where do I want to put this tree trunk? I'm going to do these 3. So I'm going to tie it on here, and then I'm going to weave just like before. We're not doing all of them. We're only doing the ones you want your tree trunk to be. So tie it on the edge. Where do I want it to be? Here. You can tie it onto either side, it doesn't matter. Snip off the extra. And then weave through the ones you've decided to make your trunk. I recommend using at least 3 strings, but 4 is ideal. 4 makes the perfect amount of a tree trunk. And I just want to remind you guys to play around with the tension. So pull it tight in the areas you want it to come together, leave it looser if you want it to go out, and make sure if you want it to be sort of really close together with no gaps like mine, keep nudging it up with your finger as you finish a row. If you want it looser, by all means, embrace the gaps. I've taken this out because I've actually decided I want to use 5 strings. And I'm just going to pull it really tight so that it doesn't look weird. So it still looks stem-like, but I feel like mine was a little too small. So I'm going to use 5 strings. Alright, so I've got my tree to how I want it to be. If you're anything like me and the speed of how you work, then this probably took forever. But now we're at the bottom. I'm going to tie it off. I'm gonna double knot it because I don't trust that. I feel like I can never tie proper knots on video. But then you want to snip off the ends again. And there you go. I mean, if you want to be, you're done. I hope you've woven it beads if you wanted to, or I'm also going to add some sequins. Now you could take some sequins and glue them on if you like ornaments or snow or anything like that, or you could stick them in the background, you know, ooh, some fallen leaves, something like that. Or you can take the hard option and you can cut it off now. So I am going to show you in a second how you can do that if you are very daring. All right, so if you're daring, this is what you do. You're going to do this one at a time. So I like to start with the ones down here. I like to snap it in the back. See, well, snip one. The shape, I'm gonna warn you, might change when you cut them. You want to loop it in and tie it. So you might want to snip it pretty far back so you have room to tie. Loop it around something in the weaving and tie it. We're going to do that all the way around. Yeah. So we're going to snip two. Yeah, this one's easier. Snip the second one. I said it was hard. Even I have trouble with it. Yeah, snip the second one. You snip two, you see they're right next to each other. I'm going to tie them together. You can either keep a little fringe or you can snip off the edges. I'm going to double knot it because I don't trust anything. And actually I'm going to snip mine. Yeah, so that's what you want to do. You want to snip two at a time. Two, 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 two. Mine's even. If it's odd, just do a bundle of three or tie it to another knot. Just don't trim off the edges. So yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to snip two. Let's do it once. Where did I? Bring it around to the front. Tie them together into a double knot or a single knot if you have a lot of trust. And then trim. And then just keep repeating that. I'm going to do it now. This is a conundrum. I'm going to tie this one into this knot off to the side or loop and tie it off. Yeah, so if your pairs aren't next to each other, loop it into something. Like I've looped it into here and then I'm going to tie it, or tie it to another group. okay, we're just making it up as we go. That's art. Bob Ross 101. Happy little trees. And then this one I'm going to tie to the next one, and then I'm going to tie the third one onto it. So I'm going to snip these. But I'm not going to let this loop go yet. That's going to be the hardest part. Alright, so I'm going to tie the ends together. This one. I'm going to trim the outermost edge string. And then I'm going to tie the end of the knot from the closest side to this one and tie those together and then trim. Crafting is about creative solutions. So now we have the top left. So I'm just gonna, it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna cut it away from here. And then you'll see you have all this weird stuff on the top. So I like to tie a whole lot of double knots at the top. So just find two that are close together and tie them together. That's our first step. Nice and tight. That's really important at this step. Because remember, we want it to be pointy. It's kind of hard to keep track of which ones are tied down and which ones aren't. Maybe keep an eye on that if you can. Okay, I think I have one more. So I'm going to scrunch that a little too much. Alright, so now I have all this weird fringe at the top. I'm going to trim all the edges. Trimmy, trim, trim. So the last thing I'm going to do is take a little piece. I'm going to loop it around the top and tie it very tight. And then I'm going to tie it into a little loop. This is just so it can hang in. Trim these. And there you go. I made mine a little too curvy, but you can fix that. Alright friends, so I hope you had fun. Have a great new year and undo December, end of 2020, beginning of 2021. You know the deal. Have a great new year. Happy holidays. Stay safe everyone. Stay healthy. And thank you so much for joining us. Bye friends.